You know what pisses me off about the JE files is that I'm an artist who has been fighting for years to get grant funding for the projects that I have been wanting to pursue. Because without the grant funding, I won't be paid for the projects that I want to pursue. And let me tell you, the grants that are out there, they're highly competitive. And not just that they're highly competitive, but there are few and far between. And literally, out of the less than a dozen that would be suitable for someone like me, only two or three would be a livable funding amount. And when I say livable, I mean $50,000 over the course of maybe a year. There's one that's $100,000 over the course of 2 years, but that $100,000 isn't for living expenses. It's supposed to be essentially 50% towards the project, 50% towards the living expenses, that's a very generous split. So in some cases they allocate like $40,000 because their expectation is that you're already in some paid capacity and that this is just like a booster shot to the situation. But for someone like me, I have no other source of income. And the competitive nature of grants is to think of how many artists are out there wanting to fund projects, wanting to fund things, and can't get it. And then here we see billionaires dumping millions of dollars into projects that are not only disgusting, but like they're just self-invested type of projects. It is so infuriating to think that there are billionaires out there that have disposable income, and rather than paying for things that could improve the lives of other people, they are paying for things that won't even improve their own life. They're literally disposable pursuits. Like the idea to extend life, the idea to live forever, that's what they're dumping their money into. They're dumping their money into having their own genes live beyond them. For what? For what? The primary person had a micropene. Why do we want that to live forever? Literally. And then here's someone like me who needs funding, who needs support. And I have to compete. I have to write a better grant application than 500 other people. And for the last 5 years, that's not happened. That's not happened. Because, to be honest, what it seems like is a person or an entity has to repeatedly apply for the same grant several times before that grant foundation takes them seriously and thinks like, okay, this is your year. You're still doing this. You're still at it. We know it's not a flash in the pan. So but just to think that I have to fight so hard for $50,000 to maybe pay a few bills blows my mind. And then we literally see, and not just that we're seeing that with the JE files, but also to think of the man behind Ocean Gate paid $250,000 to go to the bottom of the ocean. For what? And I have to prove to somebody the validity of why I want this funding. Meanwhile, these billionaires are frivolously spending millions of dollars time and time again over some bullshit project. I want funding to tell a story. I want funding to document history. I want funding so I can tell the world the amazing things that my ancestors have done